January 30th, 2014. From El Cajon, California, this is episode 39 of You Can Bet on That. Hi, everybody. Welcome to You Can Bet on That, a podcast for the recreational gambler. My name is Mark Duvall, and I'm here with Dr. Mike.
Hello.
And Mike, you probably noticed the giant crown on my head.
Yes, I see that.
I don't know if you're aware of it, but...
the only thing bigger than that crown is the grin that was on your face.
This weekend, I was crowned King of Poker.
Yes.
And I'm just going to wear that proudly from now on.
At least for 3 months.
So this last weekend, we went to our friend Dave's poker tournament. We've talked about his tournaments before. He has a tournament about 2 or 3 times a year at his house. And I finally took down the whole tournament there.
Yeah, you were the big winner.
Yeah.
It, as usual, a very good tournament.
Yep.
Well organized, well run. And, we both made the final table again.
Yeah. Second time in a row, yeah.
Yeah, and I think you owe most of the credit for winning the whole thing to me, who helped you out by doubling you up.
Yep, that's true. Final table.
The final table.
It was funny because I came in as, I think, like the second lowest stack at the final table.
Yeah, you were 9 people. I think you were probably 8.
And, oh my gosh, that final table. I mean, I must have been in a race situation like 3 or 4 times. I won every race.
Right.
And then
well, you had to, because they were all ins.
Right. Well, some of them were, but most of them were all ins.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I was all in against you, I went in with pocket jacks. You called me with ace jack.
Right.
And, my jacks held up. So I did get a big
ace never
chunk
came. And that crippled me.
Yeah.
And then I was forced a few hands later to go all in. And I almost won that hand too. I didn't have much. I had 6-9 of hearts.
Yeah.
But there were 2 hearts on the flop.
Yeah.
And it came down to the river. Nobody had a pair up to that point.
Right.
There were 2 people against me.
That's right. You would have tripled up. Yeah.
I would have tripled up. And nobody had a pair up until that last card, and it was a 9. So I had a pair of 9s. Turns out, though, one of the guys was playing ace 9.
And outkicked
So he
him.
got me on the kicker.
Yeah.
But if a 6 had come up, neither of the other 2 had a 6.
Yeah.
I would have won with any 6 or any heart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I had a lot of outs, but it just didn't turn out. And I just missed the money. I was bubble boy.
Yep.
Of course. I hate that.
Well, another way that you helped me, you paid for my entry fee. You said, "Here, I owe you for gas." And I said, No. And then somebody said, "Oh, let him pay for you. It's lucky.
Yeah.
Free entry."
Right.
Oh, okay.
It was. You won the whole thing. I was thinking about it after that night. I was laying in bed and I was thinking, yeah, it's like you're the winner. You're the only person that didn't lose an all-in.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Everyone else in the tournament lost an all-in.
Sure, and
at least one.
I was all in several times too.
Right,
I was at risk.
Quite a few times. Yeah.
I will say this though. This is pretty amazing. I was thinking about it. I only lost 1 showdown.
Wow.
All night.
Yeah.
Now I lost on some hands because I folded before showdown, right? But only 1 showdown did I lose, and I had 3 5s and lost to a flush.
Wow. Yeah.
And everything, and that honestly, the final table, I could do no wrong. I mean, every time I needed to win a race, I did.
Yeah.
And I got the cards when I did.
Even when you got down to the final 2, it was you and our friend Glenn.
Yeah.
And you were just getting cards. And,
I was on autopilot.
He wasn't. He got crippled early, and that was it. I mean, I think after a while he had resigned himself to, I'm going to get second.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Right?
And he did finally have to go in with any 2 cards. And he had like 10-4, and I had an ace.
Right.
And the ace held up. So, yeah. So, I'm very pleased with that. Another good tournament. I know we were complaining, and we mentioned this to Dave. This is not Dave's fault. It's almost like an epidemic now in poker. I think even Daniel Negreanu has been complaining about how in tournaments, people are taking way too long to make their decisions.
Right.
And this was happening in Dave's tournament. And we were talking to him about it, and he said, well, maybe I should start a clock on people. We said, no, there's nothing to do.
It's a friendly tournament.
Yeah.
But you know what? And you said at the tournament, and this is very true, that it's TV's fault.
Right, because people see on TV.
They see it on TV.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny is, I forgot to tell you this, I got home that night late. We got home real late. It was, after 2.
It starts at 6, it goes till like 2 o'clock. The blinds go fast, but still, there's a lot of poker to play.
It was like after 2 when we got home. Yeah. And so my wife woke up and we're getting in bed, and how'd the tournament go? I told her all the details. And then I said, God, but one of the things is some of the play was so slow. This tournament would be over so much quicker if people could make an easy decision. Now, I understand some are hard.
Sure. If you're trying to call an all in, then you've got to think about it. Right. Yeah. Exactly.
And you know what's funny is my wife turns to me and says at 2:30 in the morning, being woke up, and she's not a gambler at all.
Right.
She turns to me and she says, "Oh, that's TV's fault."
Yeah, she said that.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And I looked at her. I was shocked as hell. And I said, "Well, that's what Mark said." And she said, "Well, yeah, I've seen you watch on TV. That's why I can't watch it on TV when they get to something and they sit there for 3 minutes trying to decide. It's just boring as hell."
Oh God! And again, sometimes you do have to take that time, but when it's the first round and you're trying to decide whether or not to call a $2 pre-flop bet,
right?
Oh my gosh, that's what gets me.
Yeah. Oh, our table was particularly bad at that.
Yeah,
particularly. Bad. One guy, I'm serious, waited at least 4 minutes to make a call, and it was the first round.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. There's rebuys. If you go out, you just rebuy,
that's
right?
That's right. The first hour is rebuys.
It wasn't a hard decision, and it turned out when we saw his cards, it was like an easy call. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they watch too much TV and they figure, they're going through everything in their head, replaying the hand. I don't know.
So, Dave, I know you're listening. We're not complaining about your tournament or the way you run it.
No, we're
complaining about your friends.
No, they're not even probably all his friends. But well, there was one incident, though. We should tell the story.
Oh, this was pretty funny. Yeah, go ahead.
It's on the final table, and it was early on. I mean, it was like maybe 2-3 hands into the final table.
Yeah,
and a guy who wasn't short stacked. I mean, he had a decent amount of chips. He wasn't. I'd say he's in the middle somewhere,
okay,
right?
Yeah, right.
And I can't remember exactly how it went, but it turned out that Dave, our host, and him went head to head, and he was all in. Dave had quite a large stack. Right. And the guy ended up losing the hand, and I don't think it was a terribly bad beat, if I remember correctly.
I don't remember it being too bad, no.
No, I mean, it wasn't one of those shockers like, oh my God, he drew a 3 at the end to win.
Right.
It was just a normal poker hand.
Yeah.
But after he lost, he got up without saying anything, promptly marched to the front door and slammed it on his way out. Didn't say a word. we all looked at each other like, what the hell? It was more, it was funny.
It was funny. It was pretty funny.
But to his credit, he must have gone outside, thought about what he did, came back a minute later and, apologized and shook Dave's hand and said, thanks a lot. And, so that was good, but it turned out okay. But it was funny the way he left.
That was funny. Yeah.
He was probably mad at himself. When I go out, I'm always mad at myself.
Well, of course you don't. I mean, everybody gets
because a lot of times it's because I shouldn't have done that. Why did I do that?
Right.
So I understand that, but I don't want to slam the door.
Anyway, good tournament. Yeah, it was a good one.
Yep. Good for you too.
Yeah, thank you. It was very good for me.
Yeah, that crown's coming my way soon.
We'll see. So, you came in second once, so you're.
Yeah, well, and I've been on a lot of final tables. I get too aggressive when I get there.
Yeah. Well, see, the blinds move pretty quick too towards in the final rounds in Dave's structure, which is good too because it's like you don't want to stay there until 4 in the morning.
Right.
Yeah. Well, speaking of poker tournaments. Listeners may know about this news story. It's kind of been bandied about in the media, but at the Borgata recently, at the Borgata Open, the first event, they stopped the event when it got down to a small number of players because it was discovered that there were a bunch of counterfeit chips that had somehow entered the game.
Yeah, $2.7 million worth?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And so there was they stopped it. They kind of canceled the event. I'm not exactly sure what they did for the players that were still in and money back. I don't know if that's even been determined yet. But
even if players who were out, I think you'd have an issue with that, right?
Right. It's tainted. So this was the news that originally came out. Well, there's been a development. Now, what happened was some workers at Harrah's, not at Borgata, but at Harrah's Resort in Atlantic City, were unclogging a sewer pipe. And they found $2.7 million worth of counterfeit Borgata casino poker tournament chips.
Can you imagine the look on their face? What what the hell's clogging this lineup? And it's all those poker chips.
So it was in the room where this guy, Christian Luzardi, was staying, and he was taking part in this poker tournament at Borgata, the Winter Poker Open. Now, you had said 2.7 million were in the tournament, but it says here that it was about 800,000 chips. $800,000 worth of chips that were actually in the tournament.
Oh, okay.
And for some reason, $2.7 million ended up in the sewer pipe in this guy's room.
Oh, okay.
So they caught the guy. Who knows what's going to happen next? But, this part of the story only recently came out. And that's probably how Borgata even thought to check how many chips were in play.
Right.
Was that, previously the Harrahs had found all these chips in their sewer system, and they contacted Borgata and said, "Hey, something's up."
Now, why in the world would you flush them? I assume he flushed them down the toilet.
I guess. What did happen? I mean, that is strange
because they know who stayed in rooms, right?
Yeah.
They just go back and check everyone who stayed in that room. Why wouldn't you you want to get rid of these fake poker chips, put them in a brown paper bag, walk out in that field there by Harrah's, right?
Yeah.
And just chuck them in the field.
Or just throw them in a dumpster. That is a strange part of the story, is that
I hope he threw them in the toilet. He didn't crap them out. He hadn't swallowed them. Like illegal drugs, right? He has them in a baggie.
That's right.
I got to eat all these chips.
Open up. He's
swallowing chips.
Oh, God. It is, the guy... He's stupid enough to try to cheat like this.
Right.
But yeah, that is.
Well, I don't know about stupid. I mean, cheating is stupid, but forging those chips probably takes a lot. Right?
Maybe, a lot of times though with tournament chips, they're not as sophisticated as the casino chips, right?
Right.
And my understanding too is they weren't perfect counterfeits. The color was kind of like that. But a lot of times, and I don't know about the Borgata, I don't know. But a lot of times when you're just playing in a tournament, the chips, they don't necessarily all look the same, right? They're not all perfect,
they're using,
right?
because they're figuring that nobody's cheating. Right, on that.
Maybe. But anyway, so this answers some questions, but it brings up probably a lot more. We'll have to find out if there's more information about this.
I'd like to be the judge trying this, okay, you're going to jail because you're stupid, number one. I mean, just for sheer stupidity. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
And he actually won in the tournament.
He did. Yeah, it says here he won, about $6,000 during the tournament. So, obviously he's going to have to forfeit that. But there's still more to come on this story, I think.
Oh, gosh. That's funny. Well, Borgata probably won't be having a poker tournament real soon.
Or they're going to do something this is a problem because you can, there's so many ways to cheat this way, in poker tournaments, dumping chips off to another player,
right?
Either in a hand or during a break,
right?
Scooting chips over, or playing in a real cheap tournament earlier and pocketing some chips, right? And then going to a more expensive tournament and taking them out of your pocket when nobody's looking,
bringing them out. Yeah.
So it's an issue,
I was thinking about that, what about just you and I being friends? I mean, we're playing in a home poker tournament, and most everybody on the final table is our friend.
Right.
But people who are close friends, you could easily collude.
Oh, sure.
Now, we don't.
We're too competitive.
Yeah, obviously we don't, because I lost most of my stack.
That's right. I have pocket jacks, and I'm thinking, please call, please call, please call. Yeah, you weren't dumping your chips off to me. You were trying to win. You thought you were making the right call.
Yeah, I sure did with ace jack. But, you could collude in something like that, right?
True. Oh, sure, of course.
I mean, just I'm obviously going out, so pocket a few chips and hand them to you, so you increase your stack, so you make it to the final table.
It's always going to be an ongoing problem with poker. Yeah,
it's funny.
An issue. Massachusetts is going to be opening up casinos here soon. Coming this February is when they're going to start actually handing out gaming licenses, and then the first casinos are going to be opening up either late this year or early next year.
Now, like in Boston proper, like in the city?
I don't think in the city. There, I should have looked this up. There are quite a few locations that are being considered at this point,
like rural type.
Certainly not in the city of right in downtown Boston, that kind of thing. But so for right now, they're trying to kind of work through the laws that they're going to have and that kind of thing for the licensing. Well, one of the things that they're considering is making any winning wager of $600 or more taxable. And by that meaning that the winning player would have to fill out a tax form right on the spot.
On the spot.
Now, just to kind of talk about the federal law, the law, and this is most casinos follow this too, is that a player only has to fill out tax forms, gets this W-2G, if they win $1,200 or more on a slot machine.
Right.
Or if they win $1,200 or more on a table game where the odds of winning the bet were 300 to 1 or greater.
Right. So if you won your fire bet at 5,000 to 1.
1,000 to 1.
I mean, 1,000 to 1.
1,004
4 1, right. So your $5 bet gets you 5,000.
Right. So
you'd have to fill out a W-2.
Right. Yeah. So now the idea then though is if you're just betting like $2,000 on a hand of blackjack and you win, well, you don't have to fill out taxes there because you were betting $2,000. It wasn't 300 to 1, right? You actually had a $3,000 bet out there, or what did I say? $2,000 bet out there. But Massachusetts now is saying any winning wager of 600 or more. So
it makes no sense.
It's crazy for them to even be considering this. And of course, they're going to change their mind on it. But first of all, 600?
They'd have to have a big old stack of W-2s. You won that blackjack bet. Here, fill this out.
Yeah, for every time. You're betting 1,000 a hand every time.
Right.
So first of all, 600 is way too low. 1,200 is too low.
Right.
That's antiquated too. They need to raise that, even that limit.
It should be
much
like
higher.
5,000.
I agree. I agree. At least 5,000. But yeah, you're right. That would be the rule is that if you win a $600 or more blackjack bet, every time you'd have to fill. And of course, that's not going to fly. But it just kind of gives you an example.
Well, you wonder who comes up with these laws because it's obviously not a person who's into gambling.
Yeah, it's the legislature, and they're
because anyone who's been to a casino enough knows that there's some guy that's going to bet $1,000 a hand on blackjack, or $500 a hand, and if he gets blackjack, he's going to win more than 600. Yeah.
So anyway, I thought that was kind of funny, and I'm sure again that they will change it, but it may the 600 may stick.
Right.
And that's a problem too, right? Because $600 payout on a slot machine. Right. I mean, that's going to happen so much more than $1,200. Oh gosh.
Yeah. Well, they really should. The federal law should change.
It needs to be upped.
At least 5,000, I would say, is because it doesn't take much to win 1,200.
No. No. Yeah. On a dollar slot.
No.
Yeah. It can happen all the time. Let's move on to the next segment with it. We might have to start calling Oklahoma casinos today because it seems like every episode we find out more about Oklahoma casinos. So just a quick review, Oklahoma casinos, if you play table games, every hand you've got to pay a commission, an ante, like 25 cents, 50 cents. And then you still have to play, the game, the regular blackjack or three-card poker or whatever. And this is a state law. The casinos didn't decide this. This is part of Oklahoma law. Well, we got an email from listener Taylor. He said about Oklahoma casinos, if there are a few casinos close to each other, the casinos do offer ante-free table games. The casino pays the ante if you sign up for their players' cards. So that's good.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
That is something.
It's an incentive for you to go to that casino. That's why they do it.
Right. And we reported last time, too, that supposedly the casino has to return some of the money they win to the players. Now, I had heard that it was from the actual winnings of the table games as opposed to the antes. Maybe it's the other way around. The antes are supposed to be returned. Anyway, either way, Taylor was saying, okay, there are some ante-free casinos. He says, where I used to play, there were 5 casinos within an hour of each other, and 4 of them were ante-free. Again, if you had a players club, and the other one had ante-free hours or days. He said he didn't go to that one. So this competition encourages the ante-free game. So I guess there is some way that the casinos can get around the law, if that's the right way to say it. And he also said that playing blackjack there is really good because the rules are good. Resplit aces, double after splitting, that kind of thing. And that they have low minimums there. They have $3 blackjack tables. They have $2 3-card poker tables.
Oh, my God. My dad would love that.
Yeah.
$2 3-card poker. I shouldn't tell him that. He'll probably want to move to Oklahoma.
Yeah, right. So to summarize, Taylor was saying, so here's the good things about Oklahoma casinos are friendly and attractive staff. He says casino jobs are considered pretty good jobs in these small towns, so there are always some very pretty young dealers.
Yeah, and now that is a plus.
That's right. That
might be a reason to go to Oklahoma.
The casinos usually have the community center friendly feel. Mm-hmm. They have low minimums for low rollers and usually good blackjack rules. He says he's never seen 6-5 blackjack in Oklahoma.
Wow.
Always 3-2, even on double decks.
Hey, just as an aside, real quick.
Yeah.
So this weekend I'm talking to our casino host, Alan.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the 6-5. You weren't there last Friday night.
I couldn't make it.
And he says to me, oh, yeah, notice how full it is. And it was full. The 6-5 area, the pit there, full. Every table full, blackjack players. And he turned to me and he said, yeah, Mark would hate this, but you know what? There's going to be a day when that's all there's going to be.
Yeah, I know.
He said they're really going to that. He said all the casinos are really pushing the 6-5.
It's kind of what I said last episode, too. It's like it's here to stay.
Right.
And, unless we get the word out, unless we have that NFL-backed plan to educate our youth,
right?
Nobody's going to learn why 6-5 is bad. Yeah.
Anyway, back to Oklahoma.
All right. So, Taylor, here was what he was saying the cons of Oklahoma casinos are. No free alcoholic drinks. That's the way it is here in California, too.
Right.
They can't
That's a good law. I understand that in most of the, unless you're like Vegas or something. It's
especially good at the casinos out here because almost every casino in our area, you've got to drive on some windy mountain roads to get to.
Right. They're out in the rural areas.
Yeah. So the less that people are drinking, when they're driving away to the casino, the better. So he says another con, usually no roulette or craps, although he did say he has seen some card-based roulette and craps, but not very much of it. So anyway, he said, so in conclusion, if you're a serious gambler, of course you should go to Vegas. But if you want to play some blackjack and slow dementia, it's not a bad place to go.
That's why that's what I gamble for. It's slowing
to slow
my
down
dementia.
Your dementia? Yeah.
I mean, it's coming. Everyone,
we know that.
Everyone who knows me realizes
I've
that.
I've noticed it just last couple of years, sure.
But I think my gambling has slowed that down considerably.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I still know what I'm supposed to be paid.
On the table?
On the table, yeah.
That is good. Well, tell your wife that this is, if you don't if she doesn't let you go out to the casino more often, Alzheimer's might creep up quicker.
I'll have to write to the Alzheimer's Society of America and tell them, look, this is what you need to do. Get all these people to a casino quick.
That's right. Now, Alzheimer's is a serious disease. We don't want to offend anybody. I have relatives that have Alzheimer's.
So do I.
There's nothing funny about it.
No, absolutely nothing funny about it.
Let's move on. I'm sure you've heard about this. This was in mainstream media.
Okay.
But Warren Buffett is offering $1 billion to anyone who can accurately fill out a perfect NCAA March Madness bracket.
Warren Buffett has Alzheimer's. He's got it.
I think he's the smartest guy in the world, all right?
Yeah,
what this really is, it's Quicken Loans is actually doing the contest. And they are paying him, he's basically insuring the $1 billion.
Right.
They're paying him money, an undisclosed sum, to basically cover the bet if somebody does win it.
That's why he's the smartest guy in America.
Right.
Because nobody's going to win that.
Nobody is going to win it. Now, I'm sure a lot of people, I was a little confused here. One of the articles I was reading said that the bracket has to correctly predict all 67 games. Now, that would include the play-in games, right? I don't think that's the case, though. I think it's going to be only the 64 games. And although you're going to be able to fill out that brackets the Monday right after they announce the teams,
right.
I think, if for some reason you want to, choose one of those play-in teams, you just, indicate that you're picking, whoever wins the play-in game and that's doing it. Now, everybody would be stupid to do that because the play-in teams always play no, not all of them. I was going to say they always play the number one, but some of them don't, do they?
Some of them don't. Now,
that's right, I forgot
they changed
about that.
this last year, yeah. Some of the play-in, so they had like a number 12 seed in a play-in game.
No, you're right, I forgot. Yeah. Well, anyway, either way, 64, it's probably just the 63 games for the 64 teams that you're going to have to pick.
Right.
Now, all things being even, there are over 9 quintillion different combinations of a 64-team bracket.
Okay.
So your chances of...
It's a lot of paperwork to fill out one entry for each one.
That's right. It's going to take me forever.
It's going to take a while.
Well, let's back up here. Only the first 10 million... It's all free, by the way, to enter this contest.
Right.
They're going to take the first 10 million entries.
That'll go quick.
It should go very quick,
very
yes.
quick.
One entry per household.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of stops you from filling out a bunch of them.
Right, yeah. The first 10 million, and it's free, and, if anybody gets it correct, they'll get the 1 billion. Okay. So your chances are 1 in 9 quintillion, more than that, of filling it out correctly. Now that would be completely, if every game was a 50-50 battle.
Right.
And of course that's not the case, right?
Exactly.
Obviously, a number 1 is never lost to a number 16. Right.
Well, until maybe this year, if State gets a number 1.
It could happen. Number 2s have fallen.
Yeah,
certainly.
a lot of 2s have
quite
fallen,
a few,
yeah.
right? So some experts estimate that if you know something about basketball, your chances are closer to 1 in 128 billion.
Well, 1 in 128 billion.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Now, I don't know how they're coming up with that
Bill
number.
Gates and you've got like a team of the smartest minds coming up with your brackets?
Yeah.
You make the bet, you actually win, and then you just stuff it in Warren Buffett's face and say, "What do you think about that, Warren?"
I think that's good. I'm not Bill Gates, so I can't speak to that. If Bill's listening, I know Bill's one of our listeners. So, Bill,
good luck, Bill. God, I'd love to see him win. Of all the people, I'd love to see Bill Gates win.
So, I who knows where that 128 billion came from? But think about it, right? If for some reason a number 1 were to lose, that would eliminate so many people.
Well, that'd probably eliminate everybody.
Look, there's never been a recorded instance of somebody filling out a perfect bracket.
Right. I wonder what the best is.
Yeah, that's a good question.
It's probably not even 1 wrong, right?
Oh, no.
It's probably more like 4 or 5 wrong.
Because, just look at the past tournaments, how you can't know where the upsets are going to come from.
No.
It's just, you can't, right?
Right.
Some experts also were estimating, based on all these figures, that Quicken Loans is probably paying Buffett about $10 million as insurance
against it. Yeah. That's a lot on their part.
Yeah, it is. It's promotion, it's advertising for them, right? It's a great thing. And they've announced it so early.
Right.
And they can talk about it all month long, and then when it finally hits, it's going to be a big deal. I'm sure they're going to get all 10 million.
Now, what about IBM's computer? What's his name?
Big Blue or no, that was
the new one. Yeah, it was on Jeopardy.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it.
Gosh, I should know that. But you think you could take a supercomputer like that, plug in all the stats, all the information, and have them come up. It might not be perfect, but they might come up with a bracket that's pretty darn close.
Maybe, but
you know what it can't figure out? The emotion.
Right, exactly.
The emotion. Or one guy just getting hot.
Yeah, strange bounce of the ball. No,
one guy who's never, scored more than 10 points scores 35 in some game, right?
Yeah, you never can tell, but it was good. Can you get that?
Yeah, I'll get that phone.
Okay, well, if somebody does win, they will have the option of taking 40 annual payments of $25 million each, or a lump sum of $500 million. Wow. That's how it's going to work. And if there are multiple winners, then they just split the money.
I take the $500 million, I think.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's probably the way to go.
It.
Yeah. Well, now here's the thing, though. They do have runner-up prizes. They are going to give away some money for this. Right. They're going to give away $2 million to runner-ups. It says runner-up prizes of $100,000 for picking the tournament's top 20 most accurate imperfect brackets. So the top 20... most accurate, are going to get $100,000. Now, I don't know what most accurate means. I don't know if, early rounds are not weighted as high as later rounds, or
it
is
might
it just
be total number
of misses, or, whatever. But, they are going to give away some money for it.
The thing about a tournament like that is, let's say you pick, a number 2 seed, right? Mm-hmm. To make it to your final 4.
Okay, right.
Okay. And they lose in the first round.
Right.
Well, that's a lot of losses for you, right? You can never recover that.
Right, exactly.
And it compounds. Because you don't have, instead of that team, there's another team in that, and you don't have that other team in your bracket. And if they win, you know what I'm saying? It just compounds. So one loss of like a high seed early on could theoretically give you, 10, 12 other losses, right?
Sure.
So it's very hard to get a bracket where you've only had like 2 losses.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, Mike, if everyone is eliminated after the second round.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think it's very possible, right? Because of, possible. Some big team loses.
Probably the first round, right?
Maybe. I don't know.
If somebody highly favored team loses.
Yeah, but
like a 3 seed.
It is
if
possible.
A 3 seed goes down, who's playing like, is highly favored against another team, chances are nobody took that other team.
Well,
right?
Nobody, when you're talking about 10 million.
Maybe one, but that person probably misses another game because they're taking a bunch of upsets.
We're talking about 10 million. I think it'd be pretty hard after the first round. It wouldn't shock me.
Yeah.
But I think by the second round, yeah. Because like you said, if you lose one of your early team, so.
Because then they're not there in the second round. And so if you pick them to win that second game, they're not even there anymore. So you lose that game for sure.
Right. So you're not even going to make the top 20, based on losing one. Yeah.
Exactly.
So, anyway. So March 3rd, which is the Monday after they announce the teams, that's when it's going to start. I assume there's going to be a website at Quicken Loans that'll probably crash that day when everybody's trying to enter all their picks, because
done by the Obamacare people.
Right.
Same guys. We got the same guys. So what do they do? Well, I guess you can enter. The first game's probably not till Thursday, right?
The play-in games are on Tuesday and Wednesday, I believe.
They can't have you pick those because
I don't think so either. No.
It'd be too hard for 10 million people
you just
to
pick
enter.
Whoever wins that, I'm picking them. Yeah.
The traffic on the internet would be so high.
Yeah. But Monday, and then the first game is Thursday, and I'm sure it's the field of 64 that.
So you probably have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to make your picks.
Right. Although
it might be hard to get on.
Oh, I think 10 million will be gone that first day. Are you kidding? March Madness is like the biggest sporting event in the country, second only to the Super Bowl, and maybe not even that when it comes to Americans.
Right.
Super Bowl's big enough, worldwide, but when it comes to Americans.
Well, and also it's a multi-day event as opposed to Super Bowl, which is big for that one day for those 4 hours.
Yeah.
This goes on all week.
That's what's so fun about it.
Look at us. We come home on Thursday and watch basketball games till, midnight.
I know. And we're on the West Coast, right? And we're still watching things,
because one of those games starts like at 8 something. It's like 10:30. You're like, I got to go to bed.
Yeah. That is great. All right. Well, that's coming up. So,
all right.
So, speaking of the Super Bowl.
Okay.
What's your prediction for the Super Bowl? I'm jumping ahead in the show notes here. Because I thought it was such a good segue.
Well, okay. This is the Super Bowl. It's going to be a very close game.
Yeah. That's what people are saying.
And weather, I don't know that weather is that big a factor. The cold, I don't think the players mind at all. Unless it's like, minus 20. Right. But if it's 30 degrees, like they say, I don't think that affects them at all. Freezing rain, if it's raining and you're getting wet and, that could have a little bit, snow probably doesn't affect them that much.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that it's still going to be a fairly close game, even weather related.
I hope the weather's bad. I love watching football where it's in bad weather in the stadium.
A lot of people have said that to me.
It's so much fun.
Yeah. Well, if it was freezing rain and the field got muddy, and with the cold and the mud and everything, that'd be fun.
It would be fun.
That would be fun.
And, there's been all this talk about how, we may move the game to another day, if they're not going to move it. Are you kidding me? The Super Bowl?
Yeah, we're going to have it Monday at noon. Right? That's right. Nobody can watch. They're all at work. Yeah, they're not moving it.
No. Unless it really is a
if it was 22 below.
Or, a hurricane or something. But
I'll tell you one thing that I'm curious to see. If the weather is a factor, okay, if it is cold and it's freezing rain or cold, are the fans going to go watch that? Because the NFL I mean, they are all about marketing. And if those cameras panned up to the stands and they were half full,
people are going to go, Mike. They're going to go.
Well, if the stands were half full, the NFL would hate that. It would be a nightmare for them because they want to see those fans full. And if it's freezing rain, people might go, but they might be up in the concourses or.
That's a good point because people who go to the Super Bowl are not necessarily
a lot of them aren't football fans.
Green Bay Packer,
right?
Lambeau Field, right. Under any condition, go see the game live. Yeah,
no. If it was all fans of those two teams, they'd be out. Everyone would sit in their seat. I don't care what the weather's like. But I've been to Super Bowls. Half the people there are there because it's an event and they got tickets. They don't even root for either team.
I was at the World Series when the Padres went. I noticed the same thing. It was a different kind of fan in the stands.
It's a way different kind of fan. Yeah. First of all, it's the fan that can afford it.
right. Yeah.
So yeah. But here's my prediction. I'm going to go with Seattle, 24-23.
All right.
What do you think of that?
Seattle 24-23.
That's 47. The over-under's 48 last I saw.
All right.
So, and I was telling you earlier, I think that 48 is it's so hard to bet on this.
48 is the over-under right now.
Yeah, it's so hard to bet. Yeah. If the over-under was like 52, I'd probably go under. If it was like 42, I'd probably go over. Yeah. 48's probably right around where it's going to be.
Yeah.
And I was talking to a guy that we bowl with who's a sports bettor.
Right.
I mean, he likes to bet a lot on sports. And he was saying that he just bet the money line on Seattle because the points are so close and it's be such a close game. He said he just took a straight up money line bet on Seattle.
Good. I like that. Do you know what it was? Gosh, we should have looked up. I didn't know we were going to talk about this much, but
I didn't
even know what the line was. So.
I didn't look on it.
Yeah. All right.
But, seriously, that's what I'd do too.
Yeah.
I'd pick one of the two teams. I don't care if you pick Denver. Pick one of the two and bet the money line.
I may root for Denver only because Seattle players kind of look pretty bad, on the media.
Although I read a thing about that guy, Richard Sherman, and I don't know that much about him. I just read something in the paper the day after, and evidently he volunteers the most time of anyone on that team.
Yeah, and I'll cut him some slack.
He does a lot
had adrenaline going.
He does a lot of charity work. Yeah. He was a 4.0 straight A student at Stanford.
Yeah.
And, he came off looking as like a thug.
Yeah, and it only takes one bad
But it was like in the emotion of the thing.
Of course, sure.
And I'm sure they're jawing back and forth the whole game.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the other player wasn't innocent. Michael Crabtree probably did his fair amount of talking.
Well, like a lot of games, since I really don't have an alliance to either team. I mean, in some ways I hate Denver because they're in the Chargers conference. I'll probably end up rooting for a team based on how the game's going. Right,
exactly.
Probably decide as it.
Well, as always, as in every Super Bowl except the one that the Chargers were in, I'm going to root for the same thing I always do: overtime.
Okay.
I root for overtime every year. I always tell my wife, overtime. There's never been one. I want an overtime.
All right. I'll root for that then,
too.
Overtime
is what we should all root for.
Now, are you in some pools?
Yep. I'm in my typical $50,000 pool.
$50,000.
$500 a square.
He's making this up, folks, just FYI.
Oh, nobody would have a pool like that.
That's crazy. It's too much money.
It's insane.
What a good joke.
But I am in some $50 pools as well.
Okay, good. All right. Let me know what your numbers are when you
I think they're going to draw them. Actually, I think they were maybe drawing them tonight. Yeah. It's either tonight or tomorrow.
All right. And when we post this episode, it'll be the same day as the next episode of Gambling with an Edge. I know Michael Shackelford, the Wizard of Odds, he's going to be on the show talking about prop bets for the Super Bowl. So that'll probably be a good show for people to listen to, too, if you want to hear more about the Super Bowl. One more. We have a lot of gambling news that, there's always gambling news, but usually it's like dull.
Right.
A casino opens or something happens. But
there's exciting stuff going on in our lives.
It seems like there's a lot of good gambling stuff. So here's another item that kind of made the mainstream news. Two casinos in Las Vegas, the Golden Gate and the D, both Derek Stevens casinos, are now going to start accepting Bitcoins in their gift shop and to pay for hotel rooms, that kind of thing. Not for gambling.
Coffee shop, stuff like that.
I think so, right? Stuff like that, certain restaurants, that kind of thing. Now, what are Bitcoins? Bitcoin is a virtual currency, basically a computer-based currency that can be used to pay for things.
Like the stuff they used in Star Trek.
Sure. Yeah, like the stuff they used in Star Trek.
Whatever the hell that was.
But it's all, and I'm not going to get into how Bitcoin works because it is kind of heady and can be confusing.
Right.
But it's in its infancy. Right now, these Bitcoins, again, that are only just on computers, hard drives, that kind of thing, they're worth, certain amounts of real money right now. It's a currency whose value fluctuates.
Right. So they're on like a monetary standard, like we're on the gold standard.
Well,
they're on a monetary. They're backed by some real money.
No, see, that's the thing. And see, here's the thing: we're not based on the gold standard anymore.
I know. Well,
technically, that went away in the 70s. So
right.
I mean, really, a dollar bill is only worth what people think it's worth.
Right.
Right. That's all it is. It's just in our heads, right?
Right.
And that is kind of what.
Technically, I think we still are on the gold standard. We don't have the gold to back up the money.
All right. I'm not going to get into a discussion about that. But the idea is that Bitcoins, they're worth what people think they're worth, right?
Right.
And who knows what could happen, right?
Right.
But there's no government backing it.
Okay.
And no, there's no big, gold bullion tucked away to back up Bitcoin. No, this is all kind of organically came about. This one guy, started it, and it's kind of taken off, but who knows what the future holds, and how much is it going to be worth? Let's not talk about. I don't want to talk about it because I don't know enough about it. But the point is
crazy
that a casino, at least now for non-gaming purposes, is going to accept Bitcoin.
Smart idea on his part.
I think so too. Oh yeah.
Smart idea because it's just a marketing thing, right?
It's just marketing for him at this point,
right?
But if people actually start using.
So what
Bitcoins
does the casino do with the Bitcoins?
Well, like anything else, they would keep it. Then on their computers, they own it, and then they can use it to give to people or to buy other things. Right. I mean, it's a form of currency.
Right.
Right. So, It can be converted into cash in some, into like dollars in some cases, and vice versa. I don't know a lot of the details, but it's the next wave.
Okay.
It's the new thing. Yeah.
So you have to pull out your wallet of Bitcoins. I mean, it's going to be some card that you.
No, it's just, for right now, it'd be like on your mobile device. Like you'd have your smartphone. And you would transfer, I'm going to pay for this candy bar at the gift shop, right? You'd make a transfer, to the gift shop.
Their account or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
So
they can do that, but we can't have $500 bills.
Do you think
we need $500 bills?
Really? You think we need $500 bills?
Yeah, it would make cashing out at the cage so much easier.
All right. Quit bragging.
No, seriously. It's hard. You get, you have to have bigger wallets or $500 bills. That's what I want.
All right. That's true. We got a funny email from a listener, Danny, who sent us, I can't even remember if he actually sent me an email, if it was on Facebook. I can't remember. But Danny sent us this video of a guy swallowing a roulette ball. Yeah. And I'm going to post the video, a link to the video on our show notes. But it's the funniest thing. You've seen it, right? It's just from a security camera. And the dealer, goes to spin the ball, and she inadvertently, knocks it out of
that happens
the wheel.
Every once in a while.
And it goes down the table, and it goes in front of a player there, and he grabs it, and he kind of, takes it.
He kind of takes it below the table for a brief second.
And then pops it in his mouth and swallows it.
Yeah.
And for me, who knows why he did it. It was kind of funny. And I love the dealer's reaction afterwards. At first, she's like in shock. Like, what happened? And then she's calling the pit over, for another ball, and she's cracking up. It's a pretty funny video. It's been around for a little while, but it's the first time I've seen it. So I'm going to post
that's pretty good.
A link to it. Yeah.
Now, you should do that with a die.
Well, next time the dice go off the table, one of the dice goes off the table.
Grab one of them and swallow it.
I'll choke on it. I might do it with a roulette ball.
It might hurt coming out.
It hurt going down too. Oh my gosh. All right. We want to say thanks to everyone who's been clicking through our Amazon link. Remember, whenever you're going to buy something through Amazon, go to our page first, youcanbetonthat.com, and click through our Amazon link at the top of the page. That way, when you make a purchase, we get a little kickback that helps cover the costs of hosting the show. And it doesn't cost you a thing. You pay the same price that you normally would if you went straight to Amazon. And everybody shops at Amazon.
Yeah.
Who doesn't shop at Amazon?
Everybody.
Everybody does. So that's a great way to support the show. We really appreciate it. Also, be sure to download our app for your mobile device. You'll get access to all our episodes, quick links to contact us via Twitter, Facebook, and email. And you'll get bonus audio. On the bonus audio for this episode, we talk about annoying gamblers.
Annoying gamblers. We've got a few stories.
Gamblers that annoy us. With our app, you'll also get TV listings showing all the gambling-related shows coming up within the next 2 weeks. I update those listings every Wednesday using a program I wrote myself to search through all the raw American TV data. The bonus audio and the TV listings are only available on our app. To download it, go to our webpage, youcanbetonthat.com, and on the left-hand side of the page, click on the link that says how to download our app. We have a link for Android devices and another one for iPhones and iPads. We would love to hear from you. You can email us with questions and comments at youcanbetonthat@gmail.com, or you can leave us a short voice message by going to our webpage and clicking on Send Us a Voice Message. That'll open up a dialogue where you can leave a message up to 90 seconds long using the microphone on your computer or mobile device. Also, follow us on Twitter at YouCanBetOnThat. We always tweet when we're in a casino or on our way to a casino, and we'd love to meet up with you. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/YouCanBetOnThat. And finally, head on over to iTunes, write a review for us. When you do, it helps us get new listeners. Mike, what's the final word?
The final thing I want to say, and I've been thinking about this for the last couple of minutes, is that if you've made it this far through the show and you listen to all that stuff at the end, you should contact the San Diego Padres front office, and you should probably lobby hard for our good friend Mark Duvall here to become the new Padres public address announcer.
I went down
and tried out
an open call.
Yeah, you got a good response.
I got a good response from the people.
They cheered for you and everything.
Yep.
So, a little bit of lobbying won't hurt.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
If somebody wants to call the front office of the Padres and say, this is Bill. I live in Tucson, and I'd really like to hear Mark Duvall when I out there to see the Padre Diamondback game. And, that would help.
All right. Well, thanks, Mike. I appreciate that.
Good luck to you.
All right. We'll talk again.
Good night.